Welcome to The Debate. This analysis is brought to you by Ancient Archive Blueprints from their series Decoding the Pillars of History. This episode is called the Temporal Symposium. So imagine looking down at your phone right now.
Right.
You're swiping, you're scrolling, and you realize that every single post, video, and comment you see has been mathematically calculated to make sure you never ever change your mind about anything.
Yeah, that's a terrifying thought.
It really is. And today, we are convening a formal philosophical trial, which is, a bit different than our usual discussions. We are putting the modern social media algorithm on the witness stand, and we are judging it purely on its moral and philosophical impact on the human condition. And our presiding judge, and basically the foundational lens for this trial, is Socrates.
It's a fascinating premise, and we are framing the arguments in this trial specifically for those of you who are really in the thick of it. Like if you're walking the halls of your high school right now, or sitting on the bus with your headphones in, trying to understand these invisible mathematical forces shaping your daily life, you are the jury today.
Exactly.
Because the central charges we are bringing against the algorithm are profound. We have to ask, are these digital algorithms fundamentally guilty of destroying the examined life by, replacing human conscience with automated confirmation bias? Or, and this is where I'll be coming from, is the algorithmic feed simply a modern arena for Socratic dialogue? Like a new massive structure of false assumptions that young citizens just have to learn to systematically dismantle.
Right. And I will be taking the role of the prosecution today. I'm arguing that these algorithms are fundamentally anti-Socratic black boxes. They are deliberately designed to eliminate the examined life entirely.
Okay, let's hear the opening statement then.
Gladly. If we look at the source material of this temporal symposium, the verdict from Socrates, who, we can really think of as the ultimate algorithmic skeptic, is horrifyingly clear. Socrates spent his entire life in Athens destroying false assumptions through aggressive, relentless questioning. He believed that friction, the deeply uncomfortable collision of opposing ideas, was the absolute only way a person could reach the truth. But modern algorithms? They are explicitly engineered to do the exact opposite.
How so?
They are designed to feed the human soul a constant, completely frictionless stream of validation. They remove the struggle.
Well, I come at it from a different way. I am taking the role of the defense today, and I plead not guilty on behalf of human agency. Now, I agree with the prosecution on one factual point, all right? The algorithm absolutely feeds us a constant stream of confirmation bias.
I mean, it's undeniable.
Right. The mechanics of the machine are not in dispute here, but the philosophical conclusion you draw from it, I'm sorry, but I just don't buy that. Let me tell you why. Socrates' ultimate recommendation in our source text is not despair, it's action. He advocates for every citizen to systematically dismantle the logic of the feeds that control them.
But that's a massive burden to place on.
Let me just finish this thought. If you are a young adult right now and you're questioning your own scrolling habits, the algorithm is not the end of your examined life. It is, frankly, the exact philosophical obstacle required to spark it.
Okay, but let's look at how that actually plays out on a screen, right? Let's examine the nature of this so-called training ground you're talking about. Socratic dialogue relies on aggressive questioning to shatter illusions. Think of it this way. Socratic dialogue is a chisel, breaking stone.
Okay.
It requires deliberate force. It causes fractures. You have to literally chip away the false material to reveal the truth underneath. It's hard work. The algorithm, on the other hand,
is what exactly?
it's a mold, pouring concrete over the mind.
Oh, wow.
By tracking your clicks and feeding you only what confirms your existing biases, the algorithm actively suppresses the friction required for intellectual growth. It fills in the gaps of your worldview so perfectly and, so smoothly that your mind forgets it is trapped in concrete. I mean, how can you train for a marathon if a robotic treadmill is doing the running for you?
That is a compelling analogy. I'll give you that, the chisel and the concrete. But I think we need to ask what that concrete is actually made of. You're assuming the concrete is an impenetrable prison. I argue that the algorithm is simply the greatest aggregator of false assumptions humanity has ever built.
Which makes it worse.
No, wait.
Think about what Socrates' entire purpose was. He hunted false assumptions. The algorithm doesn't suppress the Socratic method, it makes it absolutely essential. Imagine you're scrolling through a feed today. You are essentially walking through a hyper-accelerated digital version of the ancient Athenian marketplace.
Huh.
In Athens, Socrates walked around challenging the sophists, right? The people who peddled persuasive, emotionally manipulative, but ultimately empty rhetoric. Today, the feed is entirely populated by digital sophistry. Yes, it is pouring concrete, but the Socratic mind is given the chisel precisely because the concrete exists. You cannot destroy false assumptions if you are not presented with them, and the algorithm serves them up by the millions.
Wait, let me stop you there, because I think that assumes the high school student is entering this digital marketplace as Socrates.
Well,
Like they're fully formed, philosophically armored, and ready to wield the chisel. That's an interesting point, but I would frame it differently based on the nature of the entity that's actually controlling this marketplace.
you mean the machine itself?
Exactly. In Athens, Socrates was interacting with other human beings. The sophists were arrogant, sure, but they had human consciences. They could be publicly embarrassed.
Right, they had skin in the game.
Yes, they could be reasoned into a corner. They could experience what the Greeks called aporia, that state of profound puzzlement and humility when a false belief is completely shattered. But today, we aren't dealing with human sophists. The source text explicitly points out that we have transitioned to a black box. Humanity has outsourced its conscience to a mathematical void.
Let's define that term, though, because black box gets thrown around as a bit of a philosophical boogeyman.
Let's do it. When we say black box in the context of these algorithms, we aren't just being poetic. We are talking about advanced neural networks, machine learning models with billions of parameters. Even the engineers who build these systems cannot trace exactly why a specific video was recommended to you at, 11:42 p.m. on a Tuesday. The system isn't thinking. It's calculating vector weights based on mountains of behavioral data. It registers the micro-hesitations in your scroll.
The half second you lingered on an inflammatory headline.
Precisely. A human interlocutor in Athens could be reasoned with because they shared your reality. A black box cannot. You cannot engage in a true two-way philosophical dialogue with a server rack in California that is blindly optimizing for engagement metrics. It dictates the parameters of morality and reality, and it doesn't even know it's doing it.
Well, you are entirely correct that you cannot debate a neural network. I mean, obviously it doesn't care about your arguments.
Right.
But let's look at definitional precision here. The text doesn't say citizens should attempt to debate the algorithm as if it were a person. It says they must systematically dismantle the logic of the feeds that control them. The Socratic duty here is not to talk to the machine. It is to deconstruct its hold on oneself.
But how does a teenager do that in real time?
Because the dialogue is entirely internal. For a student, recognizing why they are being fed a specific video, understanding the behavioral hook that the black box is exploiting, that is the modern equivalent of the examined life. The black box may not have a conscience, but the human observing the black box still does.
I see what you're saying, but
When you pause and say, wait, why am I suddenly absolutely outraged by this niche topic I didn't even know existed 10 minutes ago? That is Socratic aggressive questioning applied to your own mind.
I'm not convinced by that line of reasoning, honestly, because I think it drastically underestimates the sheer volume and speed of the algorithmic assault.
The speed is an issue, yes.
It's the main issue. You're describing a beautiful, highly intellectual moment of self-reflection. The student pausing, analyzing their own outrage, recognizing the vector weights of the neural network and, dismantling the logic. But the machine is designed specifically, from the ground up, to prevent that exact pause.
I wouldn't say it prevents it entirely.
The text warns of a constant stream of confirmation bias. It is the constancy, the speed, the endless, frictionless scrolling that makes it so incredibly dangerous to the developing mind.
But speed isn't necessarily fatal to self-awareness.
It is when it hijacks your neurochemistry. Let's walk through how this actually works. Think about how a dopamine loop is triggered on a cellular level. You open the app. You see a highly provocative, context-free video that makes you angry.
We've all been there.
Right, and your brain immediately gets a spike of cortisol, stress hormone. The algorithm detects your engagement, so it immediately follows up with a comment or another video that validates your exact anger. It tells you that you are right to be mad.
Boom, dopamine release.
It creates a cycle.
It is chemically training your neural pathways to seek outrage, and then feeding you the relief for that outrage. The human capacity to dismantle logic requires time. It requires silence. The algorithm operates at a clock speed that simply overwhelms our cognitive defenses. Before a young person even knows they have a conscience to examine, the black box has already fed them 1,000 pieces of perfectly tailored, micro-targeted reality. It preempts the examined life by making the unexamined life overwhelmingly comfortable, addictive, and infinite.
I understand the fear of the speed and the volume and the neurochemical hijacking. Those are real mechanics. But I would argue that it is precisely the extreme, overwhelming nature of this confirmation bias that ultimately acts as the catalyst for awakening.
A catalyst?
Yes. Let's think about this logically. If the algorithm were truly victorious, if the concrete had fully set over the minds of this generation, then the young adults we are addressing right now wouldn't be questioning their digital habits at all. You wouldn't see the trend of teenagers organizing screen time limits, or buying dumb phones or deleting their apps. The very fact that the algorithmic skeptic exists proves that the machine is not omnipotent.
So you're saying the poison is the cure?
In a Socratic sense, yes. The extreme nature of the confirmation bias eventually becomes visible because it becomes a caricature of itself. The machine pushes you so far into a silo that reality starts to look completely warped. And when a student finally notices that their entire feed is just a bizarre echo chamber reflecting their own most extreme, unexamined impulses back at them, they experience that exact state you mentioned earlier, aporia.
The profound puzzlement.
Exactly, that profound puzzlement. The very toxicity of the constant stream is what prompts the rigorous challenge and the intellectual humility required to break free. Socrates needed the arrogance of Athens to push against. Today's youth need the illusion of the algorithm.
That is an incredibly optimistic view of what is basically just digital fatigue. But is fatigue the same as philosophical examination?
It's the start of it.
Is it? I mean, a person can feel physically sick from eating too much junk food without fundamentally understanding the nutritional science of why they feel sick. My concern is that the algorithm doesn't just feed us bad information, it trains our brains to expect instant validation for every thought we have. Socrates literally drank hemlock rather than give up his intellectual independence to a mob.
True?
He spent his life trying to teach people to endure the deep, agonizing discomfort of being wrong. The algorithmic feed is a machine engineered to ensure you never have to feel the discomfort of being wrong.
Until you step away from the screen.
But they don't step away. It surrounds you with a customized, personalized reality where your raw assumptions are treated as objective, universal facts. If you were raised in a digital environment where every opinion you hold is instantly validated by a chorus of algorithmic ghosts, how do you ever develop the cognitive muscles to endure aggressive Socratic questioning in the real, physical world?
You develop those muscles the exact same way human beings always have, by eventually, inevitably colliding with reality outside the feed. And let's just be intellectually charitable to the algorithm for a moment. By pushing people into these extreme, purified silos of confirmation bias, it actually clarifies the ideological battle lines of society.
Clarifies them by making everyone hate each other?
Clarifies them by stripping away the polite fictions. When a student steps out of their customized digital reality and speaks to a real human being, like a classmate who has been raised in a completely different algorithmic silo, the friction is immediate and it is intense.
Oh, definitely.
The algorithm has inadvertently created the ultimate conditions for Socratic dialogue in the physical world, because it has armed everyone with completely different sets of false assumptions that must now be violently reconciled in the classroom or, at the dinner table. The machine sets the stage. It is up to the human beings to perform the dialogue.
But that collision in the physical world is precisely what the algorithm seeks to prevent, or at least render totally irrelevant. Look at the text again, eliminating the need for the unexamined life. The goal of the black box, from a purely mechanical, mathematical standpoint, is retention.
Right, time on app.
It wants to keep your eyes on the glass. It views physical world collisions, real conversations as lost engagement time.
I want to bring this back to the idea of outsourcing our conscience, because this is really the core of the prosecution's case here. When you rely on a machine to curate your reality, you are trusting a mathematical formula to determine what is good, what is true, and what is beautiful. But the formula doesn't know what is true.
No, it doesn't.
The formula only knows what is clickable. To everyone listening, this is the danger. You are allowing a system that cannot fundamentally understand human morality to dictate the moral boundaries of your entire world.
Well, allowing is the key word there. You use words like outsourcing and surrendering, and I refuse to believe that surrender is inevitable. When Socrates looked at the physical mob in Athens that eventually condemned him to death, he didn't see an unbeatable force of nature. He saw a collection of individual human minds that had failed to examine themselves.
Okay.
The black box is just a new mob. It is a highly efficient, mathematically optimized mob, yes, but its power is entirely dependent on our continuous consent. You argue that the algorithm attempts to automate the human conscience. I argue that conscience simply cannot be automated. It can only be temporarily sedated.
That's a strong claim.
But look at the source material. It doesn't say the algorithm has eliminated the examined life. It says it is a machine designed to eliminate the need for it. The design can fail, and it fails the exact moment a user decides to look at the machinery itself. By advocating that citizens systematically dismantle the logic of the feeds, Socrates is handing us the blueprints for our own liberation.
I see why you emphasize that call to action. The act of dismantling is indeed a profound Socratic exercise. But let's be realistic and look closely at what dismantling the logic of the feed actually requires in practice. It requires a level of metacognition, thinking about how you think, watching your own brain work in real time, that is difficult even for trained philosophers.
It's a skill, yes.
We are asking teenagers whose prefrontal cortexes are still developing to constantly audit their own dopamine loops. They have to pause mid-scroll and ask, did I click this because I genuinely want to learn about this topic, or because the algorithm expertly exploited my negativity bias? It's not just a casual philosophical exercise.
No one said it was easy.
It's a deeply psychological, exhausting battle against a server farm that has billions of dollars of research behind its ability to manipulate human attention. The chisel of Socratic questioning is small. The concrete mixer of the algorithm is massive, well-funded, and running 24/7.
It is massive. But as we know from both architecture and technology, even massive structures have structural vulnerabilities. And the vulnerability of the algorithm is its sheer mechanical predictability.
Meaning what?
Once you understand the mechanism, once you realize that the black box explicitly wants you outraged, because outrage increases watch time by 14%, its magic disappears. That is the systematic dismantling Socrates is talking about. It doesn't require a PhD in philosophy, it requires basic pattern recognition.
I don't know if I agree it's just basic pattern recognition.
Think about it. A high school student notices, hey, every time I watch a video about a political controversy, the next 5 videos try to make me angry at a specific group of people. Recognizing that pattern is the hammer blow to the concrete. The machine loses its power the moment the user realizes they are the one being programmed. That realization is the genesis of the modern examined life.
That is an interesting point, though I would counter that realizing you are being programmed might be the genesis, but is it enough to sustain the examined life? Or does the algorithm just pivot and find a new way to pour the concrete?
How do you mean?
Think of it like a boss in a video game that constantly adapts to your fighting style. If you realize you are being manipulated through political outrage and you stop clicking, the algorithm doesn't give up. It simply recalculates your vector weights and manipulates you through something else.
Right, it pivots to humor or whatever.
Exactly. Or through hyper-curated aesthetic inspiration that triggers deep insecurity. Or parasocial relationships with influencers that drain your time. It is a constantly evolving adversary. Socratic dialogue in antiquity had a clear, noble goal: discovering truth. The algorithm has no concept of truth. Its only goal is capture. This means the Socratic citizen in the digital age can never rest. They can never arrive at a stable truth because the digital ground beneath them is constantly being algorithmically shifted to keep them off balance.
I'm sorry, but I just don't buy that continuous evolution makes the fight impossible. If anything, it makes the Socratic citizen infinitely stronger. You say they can never rest. Well, Socrates never rested either. He was famously called the gadfly of Athens, constantly buzzing around, constantly annoying the powerful, constantly probing for intellectual weakness.
That's true.
The fact that the algorithm adapts just means the human mind must adapt faster. It forces a continuous, rigorous state of intellectual fitness. If you are listening to this right now, this means you don't just figure it out once and you're safe. Your digital habits must be a daily, active practice of philosophical hygiene. You don't just dismantle the logic of the feed today, you evaluate the new, adapted logic it presents tomorrow. It is a lifelong practice, which is exactly what Socrates advocated. The examined life was never meant to be a destination you arrive at. It is a permanent, active state of inquiry.
As we draw this temporal symposium to a close, it's time to deliver our summaries for the jury. If we are evaluating the modern digital landscape through the eyes of our ancient mastermind, my final verdict as the prosecution is clear. Algorithms are philosophically guilty.
Right.
And they operate as vast, silent engines of automated confirmation bias. They present a profound and existential threat by attempting to automate the human conscience and replace our search for truth with a mathematically optimized dopamine loop. The black box wants to eliminate the friction required for intellectual growth, replacing the rigorous, uncomfortable chisel of Socratic dialogue with the suffocating concrete of infinite validation. If you allow the machine to blindly feed you your reality, it will eliminate your need for the examined life entirely.
And as the defense, I summarize my position thus. The algorithmic machinery is undeniably a dangerous black box, built on the exploitation of human psychology. But it is precisely because of this danger that it inadvertently provides the perfect modern training ground for the Socratic method. It does not destroy human agency, it provides the ultimate test of it. The constant stream of digital sophistry demands that citizens rise to the occasion and systematically dismantle its logic. For the young adults navigating this space, the algorithm is the crucible. By actively questioning why the machine shows you what it does, you are engaging in the most vital philosophical work of our era.
Despite our strong disagreements on the ultimate effect of the algorithm, there is a clear point of convergence between us, drawn directly from the wisdom of the source text. We both agree on the fundamental Socratic truth. The unexamined digital life is simply not worth living. The entire machinery of modern social feeds relies completely on our passive willingness to surrender our critical faculties to a mathematical equation.
Exactly. The machine only wins if you scroll without thinking. The moment you pause to examine the invisible forces trying to shape your mind, you reclaim your conscience.
We will not declare a definitive winner today. Instead, we turn the final judgment over to you, the listeners. The power to render the final verdict does not lie in a theoretical courtroom. It lies in how you choose to examine and dismantle the logic of your own feeds the very next time you pull your phone out of your pocket. Will you let the concrete set over your mind, or will you pick up the chisel? Thank you for joining us on The Debate.
Ancient people were master engineers. Subscribe to Ancient Archive Blueprints as we explore more master designs from the past.